marketing. So you guys know what marketing is. But when it comes to marketing your agency, the clients, it's really important that you have certain infrastructures in place. So that's why I mentioned just a moment ago about having your Facebook business page in place, because you want to have a place for people to go. Now, nowadays, with social media having such a heavy presence in our lives, a lot of people, hey Stephanie, a lot of people don't go to, hey Janita, a lot of people don't go to your website to find out about you. They go to your social media. They go to your Facebook business page. They go to your Instagram, your TikTok, your Twitter, your LinkedIn. Those are all places that people go to find out about your business and whether or not it's a legitimate business. Now, I'm not telling you not to have a website, because you should. I have a website. But what I'm telling you is also put time into establishing your social media. So some of the ways that we were able to get our very first contract was through a business referral. We were referred to a vendor management system as our first client from a contract that we were working at the time. And that's kind of how we got started. But from there, we didn't stop there. So the second contract that we got was for flu clinics. And I just reached out to the company that I did flu clinics for. And I just told them, hey, you know, I'm a staffing agency. We're looking to staff in the New Mexico area. Do you have any opportunities? And that's how I was able to get that second contract. And then we reached out and continued to reach out from there. So if you have connections in the industry, reach out to them. You know, reach out via email or reach out via phone call. Let them know what you're doing and let them know what you can do for them. And we'll talk a little bit more later on about what's in it for them. As well, talk to previous employers. As healthcare professionals, we know employers that have short staff. We know people who may, you know, have a facility that has a lot of agencies there for whatever reason. Go to them. You should start there. You know, you start with your referrals, you go to places that you previously worked. Those are really easy, basic outreaches that you can make within a couple of days. And then from there, you want to be a part of organizations, whether it's civic organization, your small business development center, your local SCORE, your chamber of commerce. Those are all great places to start as well, because they'll allow you to be around people who are doing similar things, who can say, oh, you're a staffing agency, but we also do such and such and such. So when you're thinking about marketing, you really want to think about the broader sense and kind of tap into those areas that you think, oh, well, I don't want people to know. You do want people to know, because the only way that you're going to get clients is if people know what you're doing. So, and then the other thing is connecting to your community. I tell people a lot of the things that I share in the group is because I'm connected to my community. Hey, is your local community opening up a new hospital system? Are they getting bought out by another hospital or healthcare system? Find those things out. Be connected into your local business enterprise magazines or more local papers that'll tell you things like that. Read up on it, join Facebook groups or Facebook pages that tell or talk about those things, so that when you hear on it, that's your door or window of opportunity to kind of say, hey, let me reach out. And then the last couple of things, which a lot of people do the most of, is email. And I'll talk a little bit next about ways or who to email. And then finally is through partnerships. So I was listening to a show not too long ago where they were talking about, you know, if a millionaire, say I'm a millionaire, and I was to lose all my millions, I would be able to easily get it back because I've established those partnerships, those business relationships. So understanding that when you're marketing your business, you may get a yes, no, or maybe, but once you've established that business relationship, that's something that will sustain you at a longer period of time. As well as partnering with fellow NOSAs. So there are definitely NOSAs in the group who have more opportunities than they can fill and vice versa. And presenting yourself as a subcontractor who could maybe help them fill those jobs. I will say this as a caveat to that, is that if you don't actually have staff to help them meet their needs, be mindful of that, because as a small agency, if the need is staff or if the need is contracts and you want to kind of partner with someone, then you actually need to have those things in place to make that happen. So that's a little bit of introduction. So I'm gonna get to the good stuff now. So how do we get clients? So the biggest platform that has the most information out there for you to get clients is Medicare.gov. Medicare.gov has everything that you need to find out about every hospital, healthcare system, clinic, SNF, LTAC in the vicinity that you live. And it really is that simple as going to Medicare.gov. So one of the things that we did was, upon going to Medicare.gov, is to search under the search bar, where if you scroll down, it'll say find care. And then under that, it'll pop up another window that'll say doctors and hospitals, it'll say nursing homes, it'll also say clinics and dialysis centers. And when you click on that, you get the list. The list will list out the names of the facility, the address, the phone number. Some of them also list out multiple locations, and they'll list out a 5-star rating. So how is that beneficial to you? If you're looking to staff hospitals, you don't have to go on the, get on the ground and look at different hospitals or Google different hospitals. It's a list. You can generate a list from a 50-mile to 100-mile radius of whatever zip code that you put in, and it'll pull out the entire list of facilities. 99% of healthcare systems in America use Medicare. So whether or not it's on the list is a given, because as long as they use Medicare, they are a part of the system. It's free. There's no charge to access it. You can access it on your phone. You can access it on your laptop. And once you get to, say you want to go to a skilled nursing facility. So I just did a search recently, and for the zip code that I put in, there's 150 skilled nursing facilities there. So that's my starting point. So that's how I would start marketing my agency, and that's how we started to market our agency to facilities in our area. Because I always tell people, you want to start small, which means you want to start in your own community. And some of the ways that we did market to them was via email. So we definitely made phone calls, but we also did emails. And the person or people that you may want to consider connecting with via email are your human resources people, because they may not know about the agency piece, but they're more than likely going to be able to point you in the direction of it. Your schedulers, they'll know a lot more, and if you get a good scheduler, they'll definitely give you a lot of information. Some places have told us other agencies that are at that particular facility. You also want to look at your ADONs, your DONs, or Director of Nursing. You also want to consider your administrators. All of those people matter. And when you call, you want to make sure that you understand that you have about 5 minutes to do your sales pitch via the phone. So that's why I was mentioning a lot of times you might be able to do it better via email. But either way, once you make that contact, you want to be ready. So you want to be prepared, you want to be persuasive, and you want to follow up. So, okay, yes, I'll be sending out the live video. So you want to make sure that you're prepared, persuasive, and able to meet whatever need that they have. And a lot of that is talking to them to determine what are their needs. Do they need night shift nurses? Do they need night shift CNAs? Do they need techs? ADON, Assistant Director of Nursing, Joanna. So that's what ADON is. Are they needing people on the weekend? It was ADON. Yeah, Assistant Director of Nursing. So for a lot of people, you want to also, when you're connecting with those people, be ready to ask the right questions. So once you kind of reach out and determine the people that you want to market to, you want to make sure that you're asking the right questions. So you have about 5, maybe 7, 10 minutes, and you want to ask them, do they have needs for staffing agencies? What types of needs do they have? And you want to ask questions that allow them to explain. So when you do your pitch and kind of share with them about your agency, you want to present yourself in a way to kind of say, what type of staffing issues are you currently having? versus do you have any staffing issues? So the reason you don't want to ask the question, do you have any staffing issues? Because the answer could be yes or no. But if you ask the question, what types of staffing issues are you having? Then that allows the person to elaborate. And based on the answer that they have, then you need to further elaborate to the follow-up question. So for instance, if they say, oh, well, we're really short on night shift, we have a lot of call outs on weekends, what have you, that opens the door for you to kind of say, well, our staffing agency has an app that's available to all of our employees to be able to identify and see last minute needs. We have a lot of nurses that are interested in working a night shift, or CNAs, and you kind of keep going from there so that it kind of presents a conversation and allows it to elaborate. A lot of people who have been in that situation where you're on the phone have also been asked, well, how many employees do you have? Now, honestly, that's a rare question to be asked, but I have heard a few people say it. I'm going to tell you to be honest, but I'm also going to tell you not to shoot yourself in the foot. So when you do the count of how many employees you have, include yourself. And you can also tell them that you have, if you pick a number, say you have 10 or 6 employees, but you have a network of over 100 employees. So you always want to spend the conversation where you're selling yourself to a client in the direction where it allows for them to see the positive. Most facilities will know if you're a small agency, just kind of based on how you present. But you want to make sure that you're always selling your attributes. You're always selling the fact that you're nurse-owned, that you understand how the industry works. You have an understanding from a clinical standpoint of view. You're focused on these things if you're focused on a particular specialty. You also want to make sure that you're creating an engaging conversation so that it can last a little bit longer than the initial 5 to 7 minutes that most calls are. And then as always, you want to follow up. So a lot of times when you follow up, that kind of leads to a lot of your downtime. And what I suggest people to do is don't worry about it. If they're interested, they'll get back to you. When you send the follow-up email, just kind of wrap up the conversation and sell more of your attributes that you can bring as a staffing agency owner. Move on to the next client. And that way, when the clients decide, hey, you're somebody who I want to work with or not, then you'll have multiple people. Don't sweat that it might take 6 weeks. I think on average it's taken most of like 3 to 4 weeks to get feedback, but it's not always like a personal thing as much as it's just a situation of that particular facility. And then from there, you want to already be prepared with a contract to provide with them. You could always send in the follow-up email the contract. Even on the phone call, you can determine whether or not they have a contract for you. So you want to always make sure that you're being proactive. You're kind of thinking ahead that next step. But in the meantime, when you have downtime, always be reaching out. On average for us, we were making 10 to 15 calls a day. So it has to be a job. And I know as nurses, you kind of have to balance it out. But I tell people, and this is just my opinion, the best person to sell your agency is you. You're the most passionate about it. You're the person who understands kind of the vision and direction that you want to take it. So some people hire people to kind of do cold calling for them, which is definitely an option. But at the end of the day, the conversations and phone calls when it comes to the future of your business should start first with you. So as well, a couple of other things to consider if you're just, if you're kind of doing initial contact via email, is to make sure that you follow up. So if your initial contact is via email and the individual maybe says, oh, we'll send me over a contract, or whatever type of feedback that they give, and then you follow up, make sure that you're following up either with a phone call. I think in these times, I mentioned not too long ago, I've done like 100,000 Zoom meetings this year. A Zoom meeting would be good. It's always great to put a name to a face. So that's something to consider as well. And continue down the list, whether you put it as an Excel spreadsheet, whether you set it up as something that you printed out. You want to keep moving the list and then kind of moving people through the process. So for some of us who are highly technically savvy, A lot of people use a list that you can get off Medicare.gov or whatever type of list and actually put it in what they call a CRM. So the CRM will do for you, or it's done for us, the ability to send out mass emails to a similar or same population and track it. So it'll track whether or not, it'll track if the person has clicked on the email, opened up the email. If you've attached a contract, it'll track that. So that's definitely an option as well. And a lot of your programs like Office 365 and Google Suites offer those CRMs as options, and they're usually pretty affordable, and it saves on a lot of time as far as if you decided to say, hey, this group of people I'm going to send an email to, and then these group of people I'm going to make phone calls, and you don't have to kind of keep track and see so many emails. So it'll kind of generate reports and say, hey, these 5 people clicked on it, these 5 people opened it, you got replies, and it'll generate all types of reports and things like that. So that's something to consider doing as well.